All right, if you're a real estate agent that is wanting to know exactly what you should be doing online with your online presence to be able to maximize the opportunities and also expand your audience, this is a mastermind that I did with Eric Simon, aka the Broke Agent, where Eric really breaks down some of the types of content we're seeing right now that is working, how to optimize everything you're doing. So let's get right to it.
All right, everybody, welcome out. This is going to be a fun day. Listen, we got my buddy here that probably one of the funniest people in the industry, but also he's probably one of the smartest people I know in the industry. And so I'm excited to have Eric Simon with us. Listen, if you don't know Eric, the Broke Agent Media, everything they're doing over with BAMX on school. We'll hear a little more about that in a little bit. But Eric has built his personal brand in a way that very few people have done. And so Eric, what I'd love to do is, if you don't mind, right before we get started here, if people don't know you, kind of give them just a touch of the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
How it started, how this all started, and then I want to just roll right into maybe you sharing your screen and some details, and we'll do a Q&A. Okay?
absolutely. Sounds good. Well, first off, thanks for having me, Jimmy. I appreciate it. And thank you for shifting the time to accommodate my psychotic schedule. I really do appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm Eric Simon. I started The Broke Agent, which is a real estate humor brand, in 2015. I got my real estate license in 2014. So it's been over 10 years of producing this content. And honestly, Jimmy, I hated being a real estate agent. I had so much anxiety. It felt forced. I felt like every interaction I was having was uncomfortable. I was 25 years old here in Los Angeles. In Beverly Hills is the company I was working with. It was called Hilton and Highland. So basically, I was dropping off expired listing packages, cold calling, door knocking. Saw absolutely no success whatsoever, and I needed a place of solace. I needed somewhere to unleash the pain and anxiety that I was having as a real estate agent. So I started the Broke Agent on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I think Pinterest, Snapchat at the time, and just started uploading content. What's important about that, though, Jimmy, is that I had brand uniformity to start, where I had the
Mm-hmm.
Broke Agent handle on everything. So if anybody's watching this, well, you are watching this. If you're here right now, make sure you have the whole handle, the same handle on everything. It really helps in terms of SEO, searchability, and when people recognize your content, they say, "Oh, that's the same handle on TikTok that it is on Instagram." But really, for 5 years, I just posted real estate humor content of just all of the inner monologue of a struggling real estate agent. What happened to me when at an inspection, the awkward interactions I was having in open houses, the very specific details of what it felt like to set out the open house signs, and the just the feeling of dread that went with that, and the 3 hours. And I was just always creating content around that with the intention of building an audience to make people laugh. And it blew up relatively quickly, but this is after, again, 5, 6 years of posting consistently 2 or 3 times a day, uploading Instagram stories 5 to 8 times per day. And then it eventually evolved into a place where I could bring more value to the industry with my marketing knowledge. Because I started to realize, Jimmy, like, oh shit, I actually kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to
Yeah.
posting on Instagram. So agents in my office would ask me, how did they format their content? What sort of content they post? And that's when I started wrapping value into the brand. I started just very simply writing blogs once a week for a company called theclose.com, where I was just uploading, social media tips, Instagram hacks, how to get more engagement, how to set up your Instagram profile. That evolved into a podcast called the Over Ask Podcast with Matt Leonetti, who I'm sure some of you know. And then slowly started evolving into other facets of a media company where I partnered with Byron Lazine, and now we have nowbam.com, which is BAM Media. It's no longer Broke Agent Media, Jimmy, because people
Yeah.
don't want to share a URL that says brokeagentmedia.com. So it's now
Right.
BAM.com. That was a huge mistake we made at the first when we first started, but I think it was important because people knew the Broke Agent brand, so they wanted to, they knew what it was at least at first. So now we are the new media of real estate, where we share social first content. We sift through the industry crap when there's so much crap out there, whether it's from not necessarily crap from Inman News or these other companies. I just mean there's so much information. We only want to give information, value, and entertainment to real estate agents for the stuff that actually helps them in their business. So that's what we do. We have podcasts, we have blogs, all free content behind no paywall, social first content, because we know that's how people consume content today. They don't necessarily type in a website URL. Some people do, but now it's, how can I get it on Twitter? How can I get it on Instagram? How can I get it in clip format? And how can I get it delivered to me by personalities that I relate with and that are actual practitioners, and not pontificators in the industry, people just talking. It's people that have actually done it. So that's the brand that we've built. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that
Hey,
today.
let me mention
Hope that
this too.
helps.
I will say one of the best things, that I've seen, and the reason why I watch, stuff so much
Yeah.
is I think right now, especially, things change so quickly that what I love is like when you shoot a video, like the one that I watched yesterday, you had shot it that day. I mean,
Mhm.
like it's immediate to the market. So it's like I don't know of anybody that's taking and aggregating the best ideas of what's working right now for agents and getting that pushed out as quick as you guys are. And so that was one of the things the reason why I love everything you're doing. And also just to give y'all a little backstory, Eric and I had met a few years ago, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and then we were actually speaking at an event and we're put into a Airbnb together for 2 nights.
Yeah.
And
Nice little sleepover. Jimmy and I were in the same bed. It was ridiculous. We went.
so anyway, after those 2 days, I was like, "This is my guy here. He's super smart. He's fun, and some of the texts between he and I and some of the folks probably are not consumable in the open public.
Yeah.
So I appreciate.
That's
Let's do
not, we're going
that.
to have a share here with the
We're
slides.
not gonna do that. But listen, Eric, what I'm excited about today is I would love for you to just take some time, go over the fundamentals, maybe share some things that are working right now. Let's do it, and then we'll just kind of go through, maybe even break down a few people's, give them a breakdown of what they're doing right and wrong on the
Yeah.
live, if that works for you.
Yeah, I'm just going to play a couple of my posts. I want to start something, Jimmy, with a concept that I've been working on called the So What test. So this is a book that Sharon gave me, and we actually talked about this a month ago in California. But I think this is really important when you're framing up your content to put every piece of content through the lens of the So What test, meaning before you hit post, you got to ask yourself, why would someone care about this? Are they learning something new? Is it entertaining? Is it valuable? Is it humorous? And why would they share it? Because the most important metric right now on Instagram, TikTok, X, whatever platform you're using is shares. Because if it's not getting shares, it's not hitting the algorithm. And algorithms right now are so based off of retention, meaning average watch time, how many people are watching through your entire video, and then how many people are sharing it. Likes and comments are still important, but the share is everything. So always think to yourself, what is the person on the other end of the phone getting out of this post? And I think that's really going to help you kind of filter your content because it's not really anymore about how can I get up 14 posts per week. Like that was kind of the old Gary Vee strategy, flood content. But now it's really about quality over quantity because algorithms are feeding everybody what they want to see right now. So like the following account right now, Jimmy, barely means anything, which is an exciting time to be a real estate. I'm getting a little feedback. Can you guys hear that?
I'm not getting any, but I'll tell you what, I'll mute my.
Okay. Okay. Um, well, the following account means next to nothing now because the algorithm is going to feed people exactly what they want to see based off of how good that actual post is. So if you have 500 followers versus 500,000 followers, like the Broke Agent account now, it doesn't matter as much, which is so awesome. Because if you have a small following and you create a good piece of content, that could go viral just as much as someone with my following. So put your content through the So What test. And I just want to run through some content for agents that would not pass the So What test. Generic templates. So basically anything that your brokerage gives you is probably not going to be good content. Maybe Real does a better job at this. They probably do than other brokerages, but I'm talking like a Remax branded Thanksgiving post with the turkey on it that says Happy Thanksgiving. I'm talking about a Happy St. Patty's Day post or July 4th and it's a firework thing with Berkshire Hathaway's logo on it. What is that going to do for anybody? That does not pass the So What test because you scroll right by that and you say, okay, yeah, I know it's the 4th of July, but how can you elaborate that? What are the best firework spots? Where can you avoid traffic on 4th of July? How can you appeal to your local market by using the holiday and explaining what you do as opposed to just posting these generic things? Stats with no story are also do not pass the So What test, meaning, all right, interest rates dropped rates dropped from 7 to 6.7%. If you post a headline like that, sure, that might get some shares and people might, the people who understand what that means will get it. But you have to elaborate on statistics. You can't just say, inventory levels are at this, or, there's this many new listings in your market. You have to give it to the consumer so that they can understand what you're talking about, meaning tell a story behind the statistics or why they should care about these statistics. The just solds, the just listed templates, that's still kind of necessary because, of course, you want to promote your own listings. So I don't want to tell agents to never post just sold or just listed graphics. But if your entire content strategy is template based, announcements, look at me, sold over asked, that sort of stuff, that's not really doing anything for the person on the other end of the post. They're not getting new value. They're not getting entertained. They're not laughing, and they're not going to share that post. So still a necessary pillar for your content strategy. I'm just saying, like, I still see, because we do Instagram audits all the time in our BAMX community, I still see feeds that are flooded with so what content. Does that concept make sense, Jimmy? The so what test? I feel like it's kind of new. I'm working on how to articulate it, but I hope it makes a little sense.
No, it absolutely does. And I would say as we go through some of these things, like what you're talking about, like certain things like it's not that holiday posts are bad. Like you said, just get creative with something, thinking from a way that will do that. You mentioned that the best, I've seen a few people like they did that where it was like the best places for Fourth of July fireworks, like you were talking about, the best places to see whatever. Those actually begin to do really well. And I know we're going to get into some of this. As we're sitting here, I'm thinking of a few examples I can show, like the just sold posts. That I'll share a couple of those when we get to that point too, of just like doing it in a unique way and playing to the algorithm of what's going to
Yes.
get shared. Utilizing carousels instead of still foot, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, then this is great.
So St. Patrick's Day, for example, instead of saying Happy St. Patrick's Day and you post a picture of a clover, it's the best bars to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Or you're wearing green as a visual hook in your video. Like, it doesn't have to be blatant. Hey, here's what's going on in St. Patrick's Day. It's the festivals that are happening, the best Irish spots, or if you have some St. Patrick's Day story, something like that. I'm not going to just keep talking about holidays this entire time. It's just the point is the generic templates don't work. So I want to share some of my BAM content and why it works and how you guys can also implement it into your content. So I'm going to play some of these videos. Let me know if this sounds working. I know this real estate agent. Yes. Okay. Who has gone from 60 to 60,000 Instagram followers in 1 year. He's also done over $20 million in transactions, primarily from Instagram, using this strategy. The guy's name is Kyle Talbot, and his secret sauce is hyper local content, whether it's news headlines, memes, sports updates, new developments. He's the official hype man of Kansas City. Now you're probably thinking, great, good for him. How can I replicate this in my market? Well, good thing I have a 27-page study and guide on exactly how Kyle built his following and how he gets leads on Instagram and how you can replicate it in your market. How about that, huh? I mean, look at this. I'm like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. Look at the details on this. If you want access to all 27 pages, comment the word guide right now and I'll send it to you. This is worth $1 million, but I'm giving it to you for free. Comment the word guide. Okay, so why this content works is I'm calling out the exact avatar I'm looking for. This is what Jimmy does so well in his content. He goes, are you a real estate agent who wants to grow on YouTube? Are you a real estate agent who wants to get more tips on Instagram? So you're calling out the exact demographic of who your audience wants to be. That is the verbal hook. The second part of this video that really works is you see the text-based hook up here, Jimmy. This is something that you do. This is something that I learned from Chelsea Pites on a BAM event a couple years ago. This real estate agent went from 60 to 60,000 followers in a year. Anytime you could use numbers in your content. I sold this house for 50,000 over asking. I sold this amount of homes in this neighborhood, or this listing is, the best listings under $500,000 in this neighborhood. Numbers get clicks because people can understand exactly what they are. I'm talking for YouTube titles, text-based titles for your Instagram, anything like that. Anytime you can use numbers. So anytime you are posting an Instagram clip like this, if you don't have a great verbal hook like I used right there, have a text-based hook because this is going to save you right here. Can you see my cursor like going
I
over?
can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
Hey,
text-based hook, just like, because still 70% of agents or 70% of people watch Instagram with the sound off too. So if you're just scrolling and you see someone, you don't listen to what they're saying, because it's really hard, Jimmy, by the way, to be like, here are 5 reasons why you should live in this neighborhood. Like, that's hard to capture people. But if you say the best 5 spots in this neighborhood, you're going to capture people's attention.
Hey, Eric, one thing
Yeah.
that I've been split testing, because I know you and I talk a lot about this because it's very similar Bam's YouTube following and mine as far as the
Yeah.
numbers there. And one of the things that I've been split testing on thumbnails, and now I'm going to flip over towards social as well, is the use of 3 word type of things. So in other words, like if this is, would be like 60 to 60,000 followers,
Mhm.
just almost like it creating that, wait a minute, what was that? Kind of like yours did here. What you want to know, they want to know what this is. And now you're finding like this. So that's not, you're feeling like that's not, are you trying to shorten the number of words that you're using, or is that just something on YouTube that you're
No,
doing?
I do. I want to shorten this too because like same thing when I do memes. I'm very careful about using too many words because if you have to use your brain to think about what the person is saying through the text, that's creating confusion. They're out of that video. So the less words, the better for sure for a text-based hook. And then another thing why this video worked is the captions down here. Always add captions if you can. It's just, again, you're going to capture more people's attention. You could do this directly on Instagram, on TikTok. So that's really going to help with your engagement. And then anytime you are doing a call to action, I always give them one call to action. I don't say like, comment, share. I don't say like this post if blah, blah, blah. It's always comment the word this and I will send you this. Or I'm asking a specific question in my comments to get them to do a specific action. If you give them too many things to talk about or too many things to comment on or share or like, they're not going to do anything. So what agents could use with this, Jimmy, is if you have a seller's guide or a buyer's guide or some sort of lead magnet, print it out. Like this is a classic Jimmy Mackin strategy or Chris Smith strategy. I forgot which one taught me this, but those two clowns who think they know everything about marketing. So they print this stuff out because then you're showing the tangible thing that they're going to get. So if you say, comment the word guide, I'm going to send you a first time buyer's guide, and you show them that it's like 15 pages, they're more likely to take action on it because they're like, holy crap, I'm getting something of value here. All right.
Hey,
Here's,
Eric,
yeah.
also like obviously you're using ManyChat, I'm assuming,
Yes.
for that on the responses, so automating those responses. And are you doing anything right now to ask for the share on some of this? Like if you know a real estate agent that you think this would value, share this with them or anything? Or are you kind of just like you say, sticking to the one, or how are you mixing those things up?
I
Share this
need
if or that.
I should be doing more of that. A great follow is Alyssa Carnot, who I
That's what I
mention
was gonna
every
say.
single time I speak.
Me too.
Basically, it's embarrassing. She thinks I'm stalking her at this point. She's probably on this mastermind. But basically, anytime you say share, again, you don't say share this if you agree. You say share this with someone else who likes golf. So if she's talking about a new Top Golf that's opening up in Spokane, Washington, she'll say share this with another golfer. Or she's talking about a new spot that's kid friendly. She'll say share this with a mom who would like to take your kids there. Or share this with an ice cream lover if she's talking about an ice cream shop. It's a very specific of the demo who you should share it with. But I do need to work on that, Jimmy. That's a good point.
I would say, listen, I just checked. Alyssa's not on here, so
Thank God.
yeah, she won't be thinking that both of us are stalking her. But I
All right,
literally,
good.
I mentioned her yesterday when I was speaking, and
I know.
like she does. I just think it's so smart at the end of every video because she keeps them there basically. Then she says, like, I remember the one that just did so crazy for her was like 11,000 shares for a farmer's market in Spokane, Washington, and all she did was she just said, hey, listen, share this with someone that you know that loves a great farmer's market.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is it expands that out. And so, yeah, I just think, yeah, she's a master at that. And that's something I'm working on too, a little more.
What she's so good at, and this is kind of a formula that I use for my videos too, is her on video first, where she delivers the hook about saying, here's a brand new coffee shop that just opened up. It's a great place to work for, right? So then you have the hook, it's her, and then it's just B-roll of the coffee shop with a voiceover of her talking over it, and then it's that direct call to action. So that's a good
Right.
formula. I'm going to share one more similar post to what I just did and just show you why it worked again.
There's a lot of psychopaths in real estate, but there's one in particular who I want to highlight by the name of Ken Pozek. He's a real estate agent out in Orlando who sold over $140 million in real estate last year from YouTube alone.
Again, that's proof, right? I'm explaining why you should keep watching this video. $140 million worth of real estate, and I still have the text-based hook there.
He's basically the pioneer of hyperlocal content. You know, this guy.
Hey, you want to see the newest castle in Orlando? Come take a look. A list of the most desirable cities to live in the United States came out over the past week, and Orlando ranks number 5. Did you know the largest tennis campus in the world is located here in Orlando?
All right, you get it. That's Ken. He's perfect. He's created an entire media company around hyper-local content. And if you're an agent wondering, how do I create content like that actually converts and leads to real estate business, go to his Instagram and YouTube and basically try to duplicate that in your market.
So notice the constant action. I'm popping up posts because visually, anytime you could change location, whether you start here, then you're outside, then you're in front of a house, then you're in a different room. It's called the Oppenheimer effect, which is Ken Pozek has spoken about. I stole this directly from him as I'm talking about him right now, very meta. But it's, how many transitions can you have in one video to keep the eye, to keep the retention throughout that video?
Market. But you're not actually going to do that. So I called Ken and I said, Ken, please, can you just give us the blueprint on how to create hyper-local content on YouTube and Instagram? And can you do it for free? And he said, Eric, anything for you. So that's what he's going to do. Ken is speaking at the BAM Pro Bowl. This is our free virtual event.
Whatever, you get it. The point is, I say comment the word Ken again, send them the direct invite. It's that formula of personal hook, me on camera, B-roll, proof over promise, showing them what they're going to get with whatever the content is about, and the simple call to action.
Hey, Eric, just for everybody here, because what I really appreciate about you too is you're shooting this on your cell phone. I mean, you're like literally selfie shooting this. What are you using for editing? If someone else is out
Instagram.
there, so you're just using Instagram straight up, using what they're offering.
It's the best editing app. I mean, CapCut's great as well. I personally haven't even used CapCut for videos. I just upload all this to Instagram. I use green screen mode. You go to filters, you type in green screen, you take a screenshot of whatever it is you want to green screen, you throw it behind you. The raw, authentic content right now, Jimmy, is what seems to be working best, as opposed to the highly edited content that you maybe saw a couple years ago, the talking head videos. I feel like when you feel like someone's talking at you like I am right now with a mic and stupid lights behind you, you kind of get turned off by the content because you're like, this person is just telling me what to do, how I should do it, how I should make more money. Like, the raw, authentic content with the green screen always hits.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, that's such a great point too. I think when we're thinking about going through that filter, that you were talking about, that what is it? What did you say? The so what test?
Yeah, the so what filter.
The whole idea of speaking with people. I'll give you this example. Another someone. I'm gonna make sure he's on here too. Tim Macy had told me this, and it's really kind of changed what I've been thinking about. He's like, "Hey, Jimmy, your content looks great." He said, "But I feel like you're talking at people instead of with people." And there's a big difference when people feel like they're engaged with with what you're doing. And I like you're saying, when it's more authentic, they can relate to it better. When you're making like you are, you're allowing your personality to come into these things. It is just so much more. It just hits better, and so I love that. I'm gonna be quiet and let you keep rolling.
No, this is good. But like, Jimmy, think about that talk I did in North Carolina. I was trying to provide so much value, but I was doing it in the frame of here's what agents should be doing. And to me, like, I remember walking off stage being like, I don't think that hit as much as when I show my own content and show you what I'm doing and how agents can use that strategy. So same thing if you're an agent, if you're storytelling about yourself or a client, that's okay. But if you're saying you should be doing this, you should be doing this, here's how you should do this, that's when the audience starts to get turned off a little bit.
Eric, we have a quick question in the chat. Stan is asking, what are your thoughts about posting your Instagram reel as a YouTube short? Valuable or not valuable?
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, YouTube shorts, Jimmy, are usually about, like, the title is very important too for the YouTube short. So you just make sure that you're using a very good title that is SEO searchable and isn't like, you can't use an Instagram caption as a title. You can't say comment the word guide in a YouTube short video. That YouTube short video title almost should be like what the text-based hook is, how this agent went from 0 to 60,000 followers in 1 month. So make sure that if you're framing up your reels as a YouTube short, that the title is very specific to what it is.
Hey, Eric, I'm curious if you're seeing this, and I'm trying to figure this out right now because there's mixed on this. I just know what happened with mine. When I started trying to utilize some of the shorts on my typically a long form YouTube channel, it killed my algorithm for a couple of months because all of a sudden my average watch time went down and my my follower, I mean, the subscriber count went down, the revenue went down, the views went down, everything went down until I got back to that. So what I've had a few agents that I've been working with doing is, again, since everything's so searchable now, is that we're actually setting up separate YouTube channels for shorts versus the long form content. Now, what we're doing is we're doing the same thing, like you're saying, where we want to make sure it's branded the same way. So maybe it would be, for instance, in your case, it would be the broke agent, shorts only, and it would be like and then the other would just be your standard one. And we're doing those types of things right now and testing that. Again, this is test mode. As you know, we're always constantly, trying to figure some of these things out. I would say the value on YouTube for shorts is absolutely there. Just if you you just don't want to confuse the algorithm about who you are and what that channel's about, if that makes sense. Make sure there's some continuity there.
Exactly. Like if I was putting the broke agent shorts on the BAM YouTube channel and I'm attracting a real estate humor audience, and then they're getting real estate strategy tips from Byron and social media tips, it confuses the algorithm to the point where they probably tune out because then they're getting fed one video over the other. Exactly. I still haven't locked in on shorts. We're uploading 2 or 3 per day. And sometimes we have some that get 15,000 views. Most get like 500, 400, not much. So I need to fine tune that.
Right, hey, listen, when you find the person who in real estate is doing shorts well, or if any of you know about this, let us, this is a mastermind to jump in. Just type in the comments and let us know, because I know that Eric and I, literally, this is a lot of the conversations we have is, hey, what are you seeing here? What's going on there? This is a great way to truly make this a mastermind. If you're seeing somebody that's doing YouTube shorts really well, look, direct message me, direct message Eric. We're constantly looking for what's happening right now or what's popping off. If it's something's happening on yours, please share that with us, because what we try to be is just the facilitators of getting this out to the overall market. And we'll always give you a shout out on that stuff too, for sure.
Exactly. All right, here, I'll keep playing some more. All right, so not much to that video there, but yes. Let me explain why I'm showing this right now, because B-roll videos like this are popping off on Instagram. So you could, film yourself at your laptop, opening a lockbox, opening up a door where you don't actually have to talk out loud, because it is hard to deliver hooks and content and scripts and figure out exactly what to say. So you could put a lot of the information on the video itself and just do some B-roll. This happens to be a, funny trend jack, which I'm going to talk about, because anytime you could post content about something that is happening in that moment, that's what gives it rocket fuel. Whether it is holiday-based content, it's spring market, it's opening day in baseball, it's March Madness, it's the Final Four of your favorite 4 restaurants. Anytime you could do, White Lotus, Severance, whatever is happening in pop culture, whatever is happening in your housing market, whatever is happening that day. If it's cold out, you could trend jack the weather, Jimmy. You could say, you get in your car and you're freezing. That's something to talk about, right? Because everybody's feeling that in that moment. That's why COVID was such rocket fuel for meme-based content, because everybody's in their house feeling the same way. Everyone was watching Tiger King. Everybody felt the same way about, I got to put on a mask during a showing and have 2 people standing outside. Like, it was such a weird time, but everybody felt like they were in that moment together. Try to emulate that, or try to do that in all of your content. Not every post has to be a trend jack, but post about stuff that's happening today. I don't think you get it, right?
No, Eric, how does that come about for you? Because I know, because obviously I'm subscribed and get everything y'all do. And I know, with everything that y'all are doing, I'm just trying to think like the weekly post that you send out where it talks about the days, of the week, and there's certain, things going on, or whatever it is. How do you think about that? In other words, what cues you when you see a trend happening? Is there something where do you watch other types of content? Do you just listen? Is it just living life and it just cues you? Or do you have a filter you think about on a weekly basis for that?
Well, you could trend jack like 5 or 6 different ways. You could trend jack the news, which is a green screen article or something that's happening in your market, a new development, a new Taco Bell just opened, a new coffee shop. That's a trend jack. That's new information. You could trend jack a style of post, which would be, if you see something, if you're consuming content on Instagram and you see someone using the same audio, like that anxiety, that audio that's everywhere, that's a trend jack in itself. That was a horrible, I'm a better singer than that, Jimmy. That's just a song that I can't do, that Doechii song. You could trend jack again. Yeah, the style of the post.
Not in your wheelhouse. That one's not in your wheelhouse.
That one's no, exactly.
What
More like
is in your wheelhouse? What would that be? I'm just curious. Would that be?
Some Hebrew, possibly stuff from my bar mitzvah, some Frank Sinatra. Um, yeah, country music. I think that's a little bit more deeper voice.
That's perfect.
Thank you for asking. So I get the trends based off of consuming content because I do follow other meme accounts, right? I follow other media companies. So if I see a media company posting about a specific article and it's something we haven't done yet on BAM, and I see everybody talking about it, then that's definitely something that I want to trend jack off of. Another thing you could do is look at the calendar in advance and just say, okay, April's coming up. What do I have? April Fools. How can I create content around that? We have April Fool's content for our BAMX members that starts with the carousel hook that says interest rates, breaking news, interest rates just dropped to 3%. Swipe, just kidding. That actually won't happen unless there's like a black swan event. Here's some more statistics. That's a trend jack because April 1st. And then what else is in April? Spring market, Final Four, the Masters. You could do a tradition unlike any other. Again, my brain thinks of sports, but just look at all the fake holidays too. April 2nd, I believe, is National Walking Day, which is, whatever, but you could do the best walking trails, right? These are the best places to go for a walk. Or I go for a walk when I'm feeling down. This is my favorite location to do. And you don't even have to mention National Walking Day. It's just that really helps frame up your content.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like the idea on the walking trails. The other thing I think Jason Cassidy does it well too, where he kind of talks about, hey, if I've missed something here, or he'll say, say, hey, I know I've probably missed something. Make sure you make a comment on that, where he gets the engagement going, which I think is super smart too.
Exactly. Okay, so here's a remix post.
My tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why I get out of bed at all. The morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't.
I mean, that video is just hilarious.
Well,
but
you did, and your voice sounds great in that one too.
Thank you. That's actually me. This is B-roll footage of me doing this. Is anybody here using the remix feature? Okay.
Please break that down because I think it's so underused.
It really is. So the remix feature is basically you could repost someone else's content on your feed, but you could add your own text or sticker or whatever you want on the post to provide a little bit more context. So I do this all the time with memes. If I see a trending video like this, you could click the top 3. I think it's the top 3 buttons on a post. Yeah. And then you could click remix. Here, let me just make sure that that is the case. Yeah, you click the top 3. Top 3 buttons. Yeah, top 3 buttons. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but there's remix or sequence. Remix is where you could add text to it, and sequence is where you could actually provide commentary afterwards. So if you see someone doing a video that's talking about the housing market that you disagree with, you could watch the first 30 seconds of their video and then break it down. One day I'll do a training on that specifically, Jimmy. I don't want to harp on that too much because that's a little.
No, look.
But
it's so good though, because that's the thing is I think a lot of this too is like when we talk about green screens, and I would say this, whether it's green screens, remix, if you hear Eric and I say something or and you're not sure about it, we live in an amazing time where all you have to do is go to YouTube and say, how do I do a remix on an Instagram, or do it on Instagram now, and you're going to have somebody show you exactly how to do it.
And notice the variety of posts. This is what I talked about in North Carolina, Jimmy. Variety of content's very important. Format and actually what you're talking about. So I don't just do green screens. I do carousel posts. I do green screens. I do text conversations. I do memes. I do 20 swipers. I do stats. I do data. You want to mix it up because people want to consume content differently. And if you get stuck in the same posting style, that's when people start to tune out. Here's another just daily trend jack that I did. Okay, so why that works is I posted that on a Sunday. What are agents doing on Sundays? They're hosting open houses. So every Sunday I try to post something about while you're bored in an open house, or it's some open house joke. So it could be the same thing for you. Like Sunday, people are going to farmers markets, they're going to open houses, they're going to parks with their families. How can I hit the audience as to what they're doing? They're watching White Lotus at night, they're watching football. How can I frame content to what they're actually doing? And then I laid the text over so not everything was on screen at once, so you don't get overwhelmed by how much text. And I did it every 2 seconds, so that way you're expecting more, and it keeps the retention of that video.
Hey, Eric, this is a
Yeah.
great point. I've seen some folks doing that, like what you're talking about, and where they'll do a Saturday post about, come along with me as our family visits the farmers market at whatever, and they'll shoot it the week before, edit it, have it queued up to go that Saturday morning, where it's just like you say, it's right on everybody's mind, and it just there's a difference when you do that, at a timely
100%.
manner. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, don't post a farmer's market thing on a Wednesday when everyone's at work. You post it on a Saturday when everybody's going to the farmer's market. Or if you're posting about traffic, which honestly always hits because everyone is angry about traffic, or like, hey, I take this route, do it when there's a lot of traffic. It's just, if you start thinking about that with your content, it really gives it that rocket fuel. I've been doing this for 10 years. And when I could post a meme during the Super Bowl when everybody's thinking the same thing, that's going to get 30,000, shares, as opposed to me doing that 2 days afterwards. And then, like, even caption, this is just simple. Let's have a Sunday. If you're bored at your open house, watch my IG story. So you could drive traffic to your Instagram stories from your captions as well.
Hey, Eric, from a
Yes.
timing on posting, I mean, we
Yes.
mentioned days for certain types of posts, but is there a better time for certain things as far as the time of day? Is there anything?
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
You could check your insights and see when your audience is most active and post around that. It really doesn't matter that much. I actually just did a post on this. Monday through Thursday during the work hours is best. So if you have like a big listing video or something you really want to promote, don't do it Friday afternoon or Saturday. Like Saturday, Sunday is kind of more for fun content. People don't want to necessarily take action on a post. And they're not necessarily going to share a listing video on a Saturday or Sunday or a Friday afternoon when people are already getting hammered. You got to do it during the week.
What do you feel? Do you feel it's important to do it a specific time on every day, or to have some consistency when you're posting, or just as you have it and the quality of it? Because now it's all search, I guess.
It just doesn't matter that much. The quality
Right.
of content is what's going to make or break your video. If you post something at 6 o'clock for 7 o'clock, it's not going to matter. But
Right.
A/B test it, right? Like try some posts at 6 o'clock and see when your followers are most active. Do it around that, but focus on the quality. If you're sitting there in a chemistry lab saying, "I've got to do this on 12:15 on Thursday because broke agent told me or something," then there's a problem there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's see here. Here's just
Hey, by the way, just
yeah.
wanted to say this real quick. Thanks, Stan. I've watched a lot of Tyler stuff up in Calgary. I'll check out the shorts. I've not seen the shorts. I've mostly been watching his stuff on social. So thanks, Stan, for pointing that out. Tyler Hassman or Hassman, I can't remember which way he pronounces it, but he does. I've watched a lot of his social video stuff, but I haven't checked out his YouTube channel. And Stan was saying the shorts are doing really well for him.
Tyler Hassman, all right. Yes. All right, so there's not much to this post either, except the audio is so good. And I want to emphasize how important audio can be for providing context with your content. If you have the right audio under a reel, or if you have the right audio under a feed-based post, and you should basically use audio every time you're uploading a carousel or a standard feed post, it makes the world of a difference. Because then you're like like if I do a Severance meme and I put the Severance theme song over that, it crushes. Like it just adds another layer of thoughtfulness to that piece of content. And just like you're scrolling, even if you're watching with the sound on and something does have audio on it, you're more likely to stop on that post. So it works as an audio hook.
Eric, how do you think about audio? I mean, how do you search for the audio that you decide to use?
Yeah. So if I'm doing a reel and it's a talking head style reel, I do instrumentals only. I will never do anything with lyrics on it because the lyrics will convolute the messaging and will get in the way of what I'm saying. I've seen agents that will blast audio at 30 volume and it's completely taking away from what they're saying. So always search instrumentals, and you could search moods too. You could search angry, happy, sad, excited. But my Instagram audio algorithm is now feeding me stuff that I've used before. I would also go to the Now Bam Instagram, look at the audios that we use, and use some of those in yours because it's mostly low tempo instrumentals that don't take away from the actual post. But then I think about it in terms of, like that audio worked perfectly. I think this actually might have been a remix post, but it's If the mood is exciting, I'm doing something exciting. If it's a meme about Taylor Swift, I'm using a Taylor Swift song. If it's something about rates are going up, doom song, right? Like something Nirvana or something like that. Like you need to think about that sort of stuff.
Trending versus non-trending audio. Any difference for you, or you just kind of want it to meet just the sound and what you're looking for?
I care more about the people. Like I'm not going to put the anxiety song around something that wasn't anxiety based. Remember the "Oh No" song that everybody used like 3 years ago, and it was overused. That could actually make your content annoying. So you kind of have to have like instincts with this stuff, and which takes time. It's a muscle that you develop after 10 years of doing this. You start to realize like I don't want to use this audio. I've seen it used 4,000 times. It might annoy people. Let me use something else here.
So we moved to LA.
Such good stuff.
My father gets a job at the Palm Restaurant. My uncle Junior works there, who was a Jehovah's Witness, believe it or not. He went from Catholic to Jehovah. So basically, my grandmother wanted us all to switch from Catholic to Jehovah. Meanwhile, we're from Harlem. My father's doing coke. My mother thinks she's Aunt Margaret. She's teasing the hair with a bottle of vodka.
That post is just good. There's really nothing like engagement wise, but actually there is. There's a reason I'm doing this. I posted on Sunday, so open house. This was a trending meme style on CapCut with just kind of the green screen style reel. So the only reason, the reason my content is still working today is because I'm constantly evolving with the trending styles of posting. That was the point of that. Also, just funny. Okay, so that post. Oops. Pause this thing. So, how much better is that with the Nirvana audio? Don't you feel what's going on? Like it just really captures the essence of that post. And I did this at a time when rates were dropping. I think this was like 2 years ago, 33 weeks ago, I guess. There was some like economic news, war, like horrible things were happening. So this was the post that I did. So that's a news trend jack, and then also just an audio post that I thought was important. And then I said, comment the word script, and I'll send you 2 simple scripts on how to reach out to clients about dropping mortgage rates. This thing got like 2,000 comments. That's 2,000 emails right there, which is all I care about.
Eric.
Yeah. Whoops. Yes.
I was just going to say, when you're thinking about these, how are you finding these remix videos? Or is there a certain way you're doing that? Or is it just kind of people? I know, like, I've shared them with you and you're like, yeah, whatever. I saw that 3 weeks ago. But I mean,
That's never happened.
Sure it has. I mean, no, you're always very polite. Yeah. Like, thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
But how are you thinking about these things? Obviously, I mean, you come from a comedic background, so I mean, obviously that's the way you think. But I'm just thinking from a standpoint of the agent that's out there is thinking about specific types of content and what is their process to begin to aggregate some of these ideas they're seeing as well.
I mean, I do it through the lens of humor. If you're an agent, you should do it through the lens of your market. And I think what a lot of agents can do is they can memify their own content where it's hyper local memes talking about the pain points in their market, whether it's, it's too cold in Kansas City today, so I can't go to this restaurant. I'm going to this restaurant. You know what I mean? I need a better answer for that, but it's really,
that's good.
It's really when I'm looking for remix content or content on social, it is to get inspirational ideas. So you do have to actively follow accounts that are going to give you inspiration, whether it's other agents that you want to duplicate, right? Not the rip off and duplicate necessary, but you want to see what other agents are posting. So you could say, hey, that style is really cool. I just saw Jimmy Burgess do something like that. I want to do that in my market. And then you have to follow local news-based things in your market. So then you know what to talk about. So whether it's you have the Newsbreak app or you're following local news or local influencers, restaurants, because you could remix restaurant posts. How about that? Like a coffee shop, they do a cool post. You remix that and say, hey, this is my favorite coffee shop. Then you're giving them credit too. You could collab with them on that post. There you go. I pulled an answer there out of my ass.
There it was. I know. Let me ask you this. I mean, that's a great concept, though, what you're talking about, it that I've never thought about is remixing local content, making them collaborators and expanding your audience in that way. Because obviously you're going to get some extra shares there. I mean, that's a great idea, by the way. And coffee shops, it could be anything. I mean, it could be, for instance, like in our local area, I just saw something. I'm just sitting here thinking out loud. we're heading into the summer season, and there was a post that the local water park did where they're like, we're going to hire 400 college students, in our local area because we're anticipating this many people to be coming to town for the water park this summer in Panama City Beach. And that one, I'm just thinking from that standpoint, that's something that could have been, hey, look, if you know of someone, share this with them, of someone who has a college student looking for a summer job, share with them, but it's local. So consequently, it's gonna prime that local pump. I guess you could say. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
that made no sense. No, that made complete sense. I think if you scroll and if you see coffee shop content and the only text you put over it is "This is my favorite coffee shop," that's still repurposing content. You're still at least putting a little bit of commentary on it, or you could sequence that on Instagram where it's a video of them making the coffee and then you pop in and say, hey, I love this coffee shop. It's got a great work atmosphere. It's 2 blocks from this. By the way, I have a listing down the street. So you incorporate real estate there a little bit. All right, here's one more. So interstellar theme, crushed the audio on that. It captured the essence of the video. Text-based hook, it keeps popping up, so you're going to have the retention. Using celebrity appeal, anytime you could use a name, this is Mr. Beast, the most famous YouTuber, anytime you could use a celebrity's name in a YouTube title, a hook, a thumbnail, whatever, that's going to get more clicks. Jimmy Fallon's favorite coffee shop is this. And it happens to be mine also, right? Anytime you could introduce something like that. And this was a template too that people could use in BAMX is they could incorporate this in their local market actually. So you could not just do this with housing market data. So
hey, before you go to that, because I know that, obviously I know about BAMX, but not everybody does. And you keep mentioning the templates there. To me, it's the most useful stuff that's out there as far as, templates for posting these types of things. Obviously, I've talked about how listing leads right now is to me is the best for like direct mail for, specific types of things. As far as like content, there's nobody doing this better than you guys. So can you tell everybody a little bit about that if you don't mind before we
Can I got like 2 more slides and then I can walk everybody through that. But it's every single week we give you 3 social media templates, 2 video scripts, 1 blog, 1 email to customize and send to your database. And if you know us, how we create content, it's always about what's happening today. Last week's content was March Madness content, housing market data. This week we have April Fool stuff preparing you for next week. So in terms of people looking for content ideas, BAMX is by far the best bang for your buck. Also, you get access to our office hours, which we do every single week. Byron, Chris Benjamin just rolled his school into it. I'll show you guys everything there. I just want to power through this, give as much value as possible before I go into a huge pitch, Just kidding. I'm not going to do a huge pitch. All right. So this is a hoax. This is an Onion style post that I did. Study finds only 5% of real estate agents actually live in a house. The point is not that that post is funny. The point is headline posts are absolutely crushing right now. So to break up your content, if you could do hyper local market headline posts like this, there's a Instagram I follow named Moving to Kansas City, Kyle Talbot. He's the guy I did this study with, that guide of hyper local. He does simple headline posts. Like, look at this, 5,000 likes. He's going viral in his local market. It's just a headline of something happening in the news in Kansas City. So we actually have this template built out for you in BAMX too, where you could just replace the words and the graphic. But this is something, Jimmy, that I recommend all agents do. Some of our best content on BAM is not a reel or a green screen. It's just, here's what's happening. It's simple, it's easy to consume, and it's easy to share.
Are these carousels or are these just,
Some are.
Yeah. Or you scroll into the details or nothing.
Yeah, you could do it differently. Like this one, the caption is part of the context. So that post is just one, but then I have others that are carousel posts as well. And agents you can do it either way you want.
Is that a reel also where it continues to get the plays as people are reading or not? Where you've seen, where obviously we had a lot of those where it would be a short 6 to 8 second audio that would just be on loop for the reel kind of thing that would then they would read down below and it had the extras? Or is that, I guess you could just do it any different,
You could
many
do
different
test it. I mean, that's what Sharon's been doing is he's been doing these quote graphics that are reels,
Yeah.
but it's basically just text based where it is looping
Yeah.
every 3 seconds. But
Yeah.
I would test that out. But my
See,
point
this is what I'm
yeah.
sorry. No, I was just going to say, because Sharon and I have the same, VA that's helping us, and we're testing a lot of different things there. And I think that's the most critical part. If you're not testing and split testing some of these things, it's very, very hard to know what is going to work for your market. So in a lot of cases, like you said, it's about doing quality, but because you have the ability to run through these filters like what we're doing today and get some ideas on some things to test and see what hits on your local market, you got to do the posting just to be able to get the data set, where I can get a
100%.
grid of, say, the last 20 posts and which ones did the best and what was the format and what was the content. That's the way we're constantly evaluating. I know that's the way you do it as well.
Exactly. I've had so many posts, by the way, that have flopped completely on the broke agent and BAM that have, that's a data point for me. I hate when it happens. I hate when people are like, oh, I love when a post flops because it gives me the data of something that's good. No, it sucks because I worked hard on that post. But at the same time, it's giving me data. Okay, the crowd is not interested in this NAR statistic anymore. Or, NAR just had 61 layoffs or 40 something layoffs that just happened. I just posted this as a headline post right before this, had like 9 likes in 50 minutes, complete flop. And that's showing me that the audience is getting exhausted by this sort of content. Like, how many times can we bash NAR, basically, right? Here's an easy example of memeing your market. This is a concept that I'm going to be working on that we're going to be implementing into BAMX of templates where you could meme your own market. Basically, like this sort of stuff is going to crush. And I haven't seen that many agents do this yet, but what works to get virality? It's humor, it's entertainment, it's shares. If you could start picking up the pain points of what's happening in your city, even if it's just a long line outside of a bagel shop, when I'm standing outside of New York Bagel and it's 10 a.m. and I'm hungover, whatever. And then it's a picture of that. Like that sort of stuff is relatable to people and that stuff is going to really work. So Jimmy, this is coming, this memification of your local market. And we're building this out in BAMX for people.
That's great.
I got a profile audit real quick. I just want to show people because Jimmy, I know you said this was really good when we did it at the Mastermind North Carolina. If you're setting up your Instagram, and I'm just shifting really quickly because I just want to give as much value as possible here. What's really important is right here, there's 2 places that are searchable on your Instagram profile. It's your handle and your username. So if you have your name here, that's fine. But Chris has Chris, LA, and OC real estate agent. You have to have your location and the fact that you're a real estate agent in these bold lines. If you don't, you are not searchable. And then you should have something about yourself. What can people expect from your profile? Like Shane Bergman, this is a great example. Shane Bergman, Space Coast Realtor, listing specialist, 60 plus personal sales per year, Navy sub veteran. I know who he is, husband and father. I know that he has a family, and then a direct link to his YouTube channel. And then Alyssa Cornett here, of course, a Spokane real estate agent sharing cool things about the city she loves. That's just such a good bio. And isn't yours something? Yours is something about
on a mission to help. Help as many agents build the business of their dreams as possible.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then it's like, I know exactly what I'm going to get from Jimmy's profile. He's going to be delivering valuable content for agents. So think about that for your market. Is it sharing cool things about Kansas City? Is it the Kansas City hype man or hype woman, right? Like what can people expect? If you just say realtor, 5 years of experience, click the link down below. It's like, all right, boring. I don't necessarily want to follow this account. But if they see something from your reel and then they finally go to your account, that's where you need to capture them. That's where you have to have something enticing about you personality wise or about your profile. How is this, Jimmy? Is this a disaster?
No, this is great, man. No, and I will say that too. Like you were talking about the different types of contents. I think Alyssa's a great example of that. Obviously, there's just so many different people that it is almost like if you're producing quality content, the less you try to sell real estate on your social, the more real estate you will actually sell, because you're connecting in a different way that gives you the ability to do this. If I look at, there's just so many different examples of this. of people that become that, for lack of a better term, digital mayor of their local market, that all of a sudden now they become the resource for all things Spokane. They become the resource for all things Orlando or Kansas City, whatever it is. And then it just naturally begins to feed back. And those are the folks that are selling without selling, for sure.
100%. So I just want to get into this, and then do we have time for Q&A, Jimmy?
I've got time if you do for a few minutes. Obviously, I want to be cognizant of everybody's time, but if there's a couple questions, start putting them in the chat. We'll get to those after this.
I just want to give people a chance to scan this. So I've been mentioning BAMX, all the tools that we have. This is it right here. Scan it, and then I will drop a link. I think I put the link in the chat at first, but basically, it's your social media content given to you on a weekly basis. You don't have to think about what do I post? What is the housing market data? What is the hyper local content to use? We have these templates in post for you. We give you video scripts. We give you emails. We give you blogs to customize and send to your database. Plus, we just wrapped in, as you see below, Chris's Sold on Social. I guess Andrew Undum's about to drop some courses and trainings down there. Yeah. This is like, I have an entire Instagram course. We have a YouTube course and training about how to set up your hyperlocal YouTube channel. We keep adding to this. The value in this is completely insane. It's $59 a month or $590 for the year. Highly recommend doing the annual. We're raising the price on April 23rd at BAMFest, which you're speaking at, Jimmy. So if you're going to get in now. You're going to be blown away by the value. We also have the hot sheet show notes where Byron talks about, if you've seen his show Monday through Thursday on YouTube, he talks about housing market data. We give you all of the charts every Monday through Thursday. We give you the talking points to communicate to your clients, plus the trainings, the courses, the masterminds, everything. And the BAMX community is our community where if we're throwing an event, they get first options for tickets. If we're throwing a webinar, they're the first people to know about it. If we're dropping anything to our BAM members, it's all right here. And I just want to show what it looks like on the back end because it's school. I'm sure a lot of people here are in Sharon's Future Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another great way to toggle back and forth between that here. That should link right there. And I just want to pull this up real quick to show you guys what it looks like.
Kevin, I'm going to get to your question here as quick as we get done too, and anybody else that has questions, we want to be cognizant of your time, but we want to make sure if there's questions that, obviously when we got Eric here or if I can help in any way.
Yeah. So we have our discussion or a community right here. This is like your Facebook wall, basically. The hell is this? Google Chrome giving me, and then the classroom. So, new this week, like these are the templates we dropped last week. Carousel posts, March Madness, best bars, spots, and insert market to watch March Madness, your final 4 picks of your favorite coffee shops. Like this is what we're giving to you on a weekly basis. Plus you have access to every single week that we've done this, all of the social templates, video scripts, the daily market data. You get to watch the hot sheet right there. You get all of the charts that you could green screen, that you could talk about in your housing market and emails. All of the office hours and masterminds that we've done, every single digital event. We have guides, ebooks. We have role play replays that we do with Byron every single week. We do role playing. I'm telling you, Jimmy, I've never been more excited about a product that we've done about our community, and this is it. So get in there right now. Highly recommend it.
Hey, and I know I owe you some, so I'll get you some content for it too. I'll get you something this next week on. I know we talked about doing some YouTube stuff. I'll try to get that stuff in the next week or two for you. Okay.
Yeah, get in there
because I want to be a part of it. I mean, I just think it is a growing group of some of the best minds sharing some of the best ideas, and like you say, it's just so timely. Let me ask a couple questions as we're going through this. So Kevin asked, what's the best place to put the 2 photos side by side? Are you using Canva? And when you're referring to, like the one that you were referring to, the Kansas City weather, today or tomorrow, is there a specific? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Canva is great for this, and we will have these templates for you in BAMX too, but Canva is fantastic for this. There's another app I use called Momus, which is a memification app where you could actually search feelings, sad, depressed, angry, whatever, and it pops up all these memes. It has all the trending memes. So it's MOMUS. No, sorry. It's not. Disregard everything. It's called Mematic. MEMATIC.
Mematic. Okay, yes. Perfect.
And that has a bunch of meme templates for you.
Okay, great. All right. Alan asked, is it better to post only your content, even if it is scheduled sparsely, or to have a third-party marketing company posting generic content on a continual basis to fill the void in scheduling?
A generic marketing company template, like that's not going to do anything for you. So if it's just posting, again, these templates, or here's why buying is better than renting, or it's definitions, or whatever it is, that content doesn't work anymore. It's not 2018, and it's not all about just getting up shots anymore, because the algorithm will never feed that content to people. So you're doing your Instagram a disservice by doing that, because then you're training the algorithm, you're training your consumers to never engage with your content. So then finally, when you have something good that's an actual organic green screen or a video like that, people aren't even going to see it because they've already ignored your last 50 posts. So I would cancel whatever generic marketing company that you're using. It's going to save you money, and they're not doing anything for you. Is it better?
It's actually hurting you.
It's hurting you. Is it better to have that if you're never going to do anything else? Sure, because then at least you have some social presence, but you're never going to grow your account, and you're never going to get any leads from it. Sorry to be mean.
No, that's great. No, it's true though. I mean, this is the thing is I think, we've been fed those things. And so, I'll give you an example. Obviously, if you've got a brand that is giving you like, hey, we'll make sure that we get articles posted on best design trends this month, and we're going to post for you, and it's free. You get what you pay for. And in a lot of cases, they're charging for you for this stuff. So it absolutely kills your algorithm. And if it's mixed with good content, it's going to absolutely hurt you. Did you do that? Was that me? I don't know how that happened.
I think someone just signed up for school, so that's good. Is that you, Marjorie? Fantastic. Okay, good. Thank you. Sign up for. I'm telling you guys right now.
Do you have that? It goes off every time that somebody does that?
I had no idea, but I assume that's what it is, unless I just had a bet that cashed from a baseball bet from last night. But there's no way it would have cashed last night already. Thank you, Marjorie.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, welcome.
Chat.
Yes.
Can you explain how you would post a post and then swipe for the answer, like the April Fool's post you described?
Yes. So basically, the first part of the headline would say, interest rate, breaking news, interest rates just hit 3%. That is the first slide. And then you swipe as a carousel post to the actual data that refutes the joke. So I can't go through a whole tutorial right now about how to set up a carousel post, but basically you could have a post on Instagram that has more than one slide where you could swipe to as much data or photos as you want.
And it's in the app. And look, if you'll just go on and just search for that on YouTube or on even on Instagram, it'll show you how to set those carousels up. The reason why the carousels are doing so well now, I mean, obviously Adam Asari, head of Instagram, came out, and if you're not following him, you got to follow him. I mean, he's literally giving you the ability to play poker with the cards up. And his comment about the reason why the carousels are outperforming the still photos now is that Instagram has told us that if a carousel is posted and the person doesn't swipe on that to the next slide, that they are in a lot of cases coming back and posting that in front of them again, and then automatically doing the slide like 2 to 3 seconds into the next slide. So you're getting double the exposure for carousels that you would with just a single photo or just multiple photo. So that's the reason why those things are so powerful right now.
Exactly.
And Jimmy, Krista made a comment that said, "Thank you for all of the Kansas City love on this call." And she said, Kyle came from nowhere a few years ago and is killing it because of this.
Yes, because of me, actually. No,
is it you?
No, it's not. That's all his. That's all
my story too. Formula. So it's all about Eric. That's right.
Anyone that's killing it in this industry is directly related to my social media strategy. Just so you know.
We'll go with that.
Yes. And then we got BAMFest April 23rd. This is a free digital event for all real estate agents. Jimmy is speaking at it. Veronica Figueroa. It's hosted by myself and Byron. Sharon's doing a fireside chat with the mystery guest, who is the biggest speaker outside of real estate. Give a guess. Yeah. Give a guess.
Really?
I'm not going to give you an answer.
He's best friends with Alex Hormozi. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know.
It could be Hormozi. It could be Gary Vee. It could be Chris Voss. It could be any of these guru types. You have no idea. But anyway, this is completely free. So sign up for this immediately. Scan the QR code, and we'll see you on April 23rd.
Hey, I appreciate the ability, for you to scrape the barrel to allow me to be a part of that. Of course. And I think we talked about it this week. I'm going to talk on YouTube and exactly the strategies that are working for us right now and what we're seeing on YouTube. And so I'm going to actually talk about some things I haven't talked about before. So I'm excited to share some new, fresh stuff on that as well. Listen, we will have the replay, as Rosalie mentioned. I'll be sending that out. Hopefully I just looked top right to make sure it was recording. It is. And so we'll have that stuff out to you guys here hopefully by the end of the weekend. Eric, what's the best place? for them to find you, follow you? Obviously, Broke Agent, but where else would they find you?
Honestly, school is the best place to find me because that's where I answer all of the direct messages. I'm very rarely answering messages on the Broke Agent account right now. So get in school. I'm going to drop the link one more time. It's school.com/bamx/about. Get in there right now and message me. That's the best place. That's where the community thrives. But also follow the @NowBam on Instagram and the Broke Agent.
All right, listen, man, super fast, super powerful hour here. And so thank you, Eric, for not just this, man, just everything you're doing for the industry, dude. I mean, you are literally, I get inspired every time that we talk, and it makes me want to do more and get better. So I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your friendship. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Right
Anybody
back
else
at
got
you.
any last question? If not, we're going to wrap up. If you got a question, feel free to ask it now. Going, gone. All right. Thank you, Eric. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.